The main course was delivered to the table, 12, not long after Nyx and Spike's departure to the kids' tables. It was comprised of finely sauteed carrot coins, along with a caramel-sized onion risotto and braised escarole. It smelled delicious. It quickly became the topic of conversation at table 12, diverging them away from the previous topic of how snowy Canterlot's winter was turning out to be this year. But when they all had their time to comment on the food, the conversation was led away again. This time by Press, who, after gently dabbing her lips with a napkin, went across the table as tiny armor Princess Cadence. So, your highness. Please, Cadence is fine, really. Yes, of course. I was just curious on how you two were doing in the Crystal Empire. Last I heard of it was before that Nightmare Moon business a few months ago. Is it still going to be incorporated into Equestria as a new fiefdom? Yes, it is. Cadence answered with a nod. After what happened there, Princess Celestia and Princess Luna thought it would be best if Shining and I were appointed to be the new princess and princess of the country.
I've never quite understood why Equestria has so many princesses and princes.
Prince Press's husband commented.
It seems very convoluted.
It is, to a degree, but also traditional, Twilight said as she set down her fork. The structure is modeled after a system of lords and ladies employed by the unicorn royal line in the old country. The lords and ladies manage smaller tracts of land and swear loyalty to the sovereign rulers of the kingdom. In modern Equestria, the system persists, but the lords and ladies are now called princes and princesses, while Princess Celestia and Princess Luna are technically high princesses, since they are the sovereign rulers of the whole kingdom.
But why use the same name?
It's because the royal lines weren't too keen on letting go of their power to rule, even to the two ponies who defeated Discord. Having every pony be called princes and princesses makes it sound like every pony in the old royal lines could take the sovereign throne of Equestria, so Princess Celestia and Princess Luna ever be unfit to rule.
Yeah, you're going to learn all about that, ain't you, Twilight?
Nice castle, by the way. Twilight giggled a little. I don't think they expected the princesses to still be around several hundred years later. Really, if nothing else, Equestria is a kingdom of traditions, Press added, before turning her gaze back to Shining and Cadence. And the Crystal Empire sounds absolutely beautiful from what I've heard. It is very beautiful, Cadence said, though being able to see through ponies takes some time to get used to. I can imagine. It must have been hard to leave that kingdom behind when that trouble started with Nightmare Moon. I was honestly surprised to hear you two came back to Canterlot.
Well, it was a desperate time, Shining explained. There were some in the guard that were trying to cast a barrier spell, but none were on my level. That and the pony that replaced me here at the castle had a bit of a nervous breakdown at the thought of facing Nightmare Moon.
Press took a sip of water before setting the glass down on the table. But why did Cadence come here all this way to leave so soon after her arrival? I had come with Shining to try to do what I could to help, Cadence answered. In the end, Princess Celestia felt the best way I could help was to take the elements of harmony to Ponyville. She felt it was best for Twilight and her friends to have them if they needed them. And after that, I went back to the Crystal Empire. It is our fiefdom, after all, and the Crystal Ponies were very worried that Nightmare Moon would come to enslave them, as King Sombra had. Well, those Crystal Ponies are very lucky to have two ponies like you as their princess and prince, Press complimented. Though, you'll forgive my curiosity, but I just have to know. How did they react when they heard?
Heard about what?
Shining asked. I'm sorry to pick it up, but Bear and I were talking about it on our way here, she said, motioning to her husband. We were just wondering how well the populace reacted when they heard their prince was the one occupying Canterlot for the Nightmare Moon. As I recall, the papers were calling you Tyrant Armor.
Shining Armor frowned, his jawline growing tight. I appreciate your concern, but Cadence explained to them that the same thing was written in every paper in Equestria. All those involved with Children of Nightmare were under the influence of mind-manipulating magic. We were not ourselves.
That's not what I heard, Press commented dryly, as he picked up her glass of water. I actually know a few very interesting unicorns as Lessia's goon. My company publishes a number of textbooks from them. We got into a long conversation of the nature of the curse that was inflicting the Children of Nightmare. It was a curse that could turn into a full-blown mind control, yes. But for most, it did only one simple thing. It rewired and replaced only one simple part of the pony's mind.
And what was that? Twilight asked, unable to hide curiosity.
All it did was flip Nightmare Moon and Princess Celestia's places in the pony's mind. It really was quite fascinating. All the love and respect for a pony has for Princess Celestia became focused on Nightmare Moon. And conversely, all our hatred and fear of Nightmare Moon was focused on Princess Celestia. It was no more complex than if the pair had switched seats at the dinner table. But wasn't the effect profound? Princess asked. I mean, shining armor is just a perfect example of what such little change could do. Suddenly, the kind, honorable prince of the Crystal Empire, who had guarded Canterlot so vigilantly for so long, became a conqueror. The guard turned against us. Curfews were put in place. It became dangerous to even walk the streets, no matter what time of night it was. And any infraction was met with drastic consequences. No headings or beheadings, no nothing like that. But a lot of very important ponies got to learn what the interior of Canterlot dungeons looked like. Hoity-toity was complaining about it for weeks afterwards. That's why I was curious how you were welcomed back to the Crystal Empire, Princess explained. After all, I can only imagine hearing about Tyrant Honor gave them some nasty days of view of the previous ruler, King Sombra.
Shining is nothing like Sombra, Kate said firmly, eyebrows furrowing.
And the crystal ponies know that. They know that was the real shining armor.
This is the real shining armor. The honorable, kind, loyal, valiant stallion I married.
Now, Keenus, there's no need to get hot under the collar,
Zelda said, trying to calm her daughter-in-law down.
Princess was just curious. She didn't mean anything by it.
Yeah, curiosity is fine, Nightlight said, though his own lips were turned into a small frown. In fact, I'm now curious about something. Princess, I know Bastion your sets. We're old friends. And I know he's the unicorn that headed the research around the Children of Nightmare's resurrection spell. He's also become, to a degree, the head researcher around everything involved with what happened around Nightmare Moon's reappearance. I'm thinking you'd be very interested in knowing who at Celestia's Skull told you so much about— OW! Nightlight winced, quickly looked down to see Velvet had finally stomped his hoof.
Oh, honey. There's no need to start an inquisition. I'm sure whoever told Princess about what happened had a good reason. And I know she's a pony who could be trusted to keep a secret. Now, why don't we talk about something more pleasant? Of course,
Princess said as she closed her eyes and lifted her glass water to her mouth.
I didn't mean to touch on such a sensitive subject. I meant no disrespect. My husband and I were just curious. Mostly because we hadn't seen anything in the papers or heard anything from our friends. We just weren't sure if no news was good news in this situation. After all, Nightmare Moon was the one who removed the blessing from every pony. Who knows? Perhaps he left something behind.
There was nothing left behind, Sunny said firmly. All children in Nightmare were examined physically and mentally by the finest doctors and psychologists in Equestria to assert there was no traces of the curse left. Princess Luna oversaw the process personally.
And you're sure every pony was checked?
Sayama flicked his gaze from Princess for just a moment, glancing down at the table before looking back at her. Yes, every pony was checked.